like for the memes, you know, but honestly, if it works, it works.
It's a strong pick. The moral of the story is, in a competitive setting, you might not necessarily want quad tent camo, but
Maybe
it is
not.
definitely a strong pick here nonetheless, and that's indeed what we're going to see. Euphoria sticking with a lot of what we've been seeing. Of course, real quick before really hopping into this game, be sure you're staying tuned with us. We do have our special announcement coming soon, but losers finals now between Ascension and Euphoria. We'll see which team exactly comes out here, as it looks like Noob is opting for that early armor charge, and that could allow Euphoria to get the upper hand as they continue to push forward.
Seems like they could. I don't know. I'm excited. I think there's a lot of opportunity that they have to do everything they possibly can. The one kind of question that I have here is Euphoria going with this octo shot. I don't know. Not really something I would have gotten. That was a double? Shinx just got a double with that Ultra Stamp. Throwing that Ultra Stamp. Amazing.
Yeah, you'll have that. That's the Ultra Stamp special for you, able to have in that slaying power, especially when all of your opponents are kind of in a more congested area, such as Port Macro, when they don't have a lot of that room to run. But now it looks like Ascension starting to push this Rainmaker and starting to go a little bit further. Omega trying to come forward. Shinx able to get that pick on Mars, now sneaking in front of that canopy, gets it down to the 6-point mark for Ascension, and they're still looking to try to continue pushing this. Shinx about to pick up the Rainmaker, not quite going to be able to do so there. And still Omega, okay, now, or Dragon, sorry, going to go down now, as it looks like the rest of Euphoria has started to focus on pushing out the rest of Ascension, and indeed they will go ahead and do that. Now Ross going to go ahead and pick up this Rainmaker, but they've got a long way to run here for Euphoria in order to get back down to that 6-point mark.
He certainly does. I mean, this is like a really, really tough trek that Ross has to make with not a lot of blue ink on the side of Ascension right now. So Euphoria not only needs to protect Ross as he moves with the Rainmaker, but also paint ahead of him, which is really tough to do when the pressure that we're getting from Ascension has been kept so high over and over again. If Mars is able to get this pick here, it might be a little more beneficial. 2 down, really, they just had to be wary of that charger, and, you know, this is where they're still in a good spot, K-Bot. They can still push this pretty far forward.
Can still push this. It looks like Swen going to go ahead and jump back. 2-down situation, though. Omega going to be able to clean that up, but now is going to get taken out. Ross and Necro are still around this Rainmaker, able to get one with that Booyah Bomb, now pushing forward, but Swen has that Stingray at the ready, able to pretty much ultimately stop anything if someone picks up that Rainmaker, and now that Rainmaker going to go ahead and get picked up as soon as Stingray ends, of course. But Shinx comes forward with his umbrella, has that hammer at the ready, is going to go ahead and get 2 with it. And so that, again, stalling this push here for Euphoria. They can't quite seem to get it past this point.
They certainly can't. I mean, Euphoria's been doing a fantastic job just holding this area, but really, I mean, Ascension making sure that they're going to hold on to this lead and play really nice defense is where it's at. I think at this point, no, Ascension picked it up before Euphoria could. I was going to say Euphoria needed to go for that sponge jump, but Ascension able to pick it up. Omega goes down while holding the Rainmaker, so Euphoria still has an opportunity to kind of keep this moving in their favor a little bit. One special act of ready, and I think Mars was gonna try to hold on to it still for that push in the alleyway, but didn't quite get it as the Rainmaker carrier did go down.
So the good news here, or really Euphoria, is that Ascension hasn't been able to take them all out at once. They've kind of just been throwing their specials in when necessary in order to pick off this Rainmaker. But the reason this Rainmaker has been sitting at this point for like a minute and a half at this point is just because we haven't really seen a ton of picks coming in at once from the side of Ascension. But now it looks like Necro trying to come back in here, trying to look for this pick, and it looks like able to find that pick onto Swen was the rest of the members of Euphoria, able to take that game. The defense just barely collapsed there for Ascension at the end, and that's what costed them the game.
No, the defense was still strong, but it was looking down in the alley. I don't think that they were expecting them to come from the sponge and above as quickly as they did. So So that's where the defense failed, because they needed to back up and they couldn't get there fast enough. So I called it. I'm just saying. You know, I think that was a really great game to see. And it kind of also establishes, Earth had said that Rainmaker is her love, and that is one of my favorite Rainmaker maps as well. So being able to watch that kind of go through and be played out like it was, I love it. Wonderful job.
I mean, Rainmaker has to be one of the most interesting modes to watch a comeback on, because you can literally watch that objective get pushed, and you have no idea at what speed that's going to go. You know, there's no set rhythm to that necessarily, and so having that come down to that, you know, last little push there, that comeback push at the end of that game, just everything fell right on into place for Euphoria and happened to click at the end of the match, and that's really all you need for Rainmaker in particular. And so impressive work to see coming in from them. But now we're heading to game 2 on Splat Zone's Anchovy. Haven't seen Anchovy all day yet today. So this should be a fun one to watch.
It's definitely going to be a fun one, especially zones. You know, we keep talking about how strong Euphoria has been playing on zones, and I think Ascension played pretty well too, so I'm excited to see what they're going to be able to do here. Ross back over on that slosher. I don't remember if he was last game. I think not, but I think this is a really strong opportunity for them right here.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see exactly how that can come back in and play. I'm kind of surprised actually that Ross is playing the Soda Slosher, opting for the Burst Bomb Rush and a little bit more paint, but nonetheless here it looks like Euphoria starting to gain control of the middle, but not quite able to hold on to that for long, and now Ascension going to be able to do the same. It's a 3-down situation now for Euphoria as this push starts up for Ascension.
I think a really interesting thing we can look at here is the way Ascension has positioned themselves. They were expecting someone from Euphoria to come up on that right-hand side. So now Sven is going to watch that as the rest of the team has pushed onto the flat and is waiting in the pit, which I think is really, really smart of them. It's just that Euphoria maybe didn't quite have the specialist timed well enough, or whatever the situation was. That was a cheeky little hideout from Mars too. I was not expecting that there. It does get called out and allows the rest of Euphoria to kind of push in a little further, but Ascension still has this on lock. With less than 15 points left, I mean, Euphoria needs to do something, and there it is. There it is.
Booyah Bomb able to be such a strong painter, especially when you throw that on half the zone and the rest of your team is able to support it with just a little bit more paint. That's all you really need now. And so Euphoria able to cap that and forcing that extremely large penalty onto the side of Ascension. But it looks like they're about ready to work their way back into zone. It's a 2-down situation for Euphoria as Mars trying to stay alive here, avoid the fire of Swen from that side. Ross jumping in as well to try to apply some more pressure. So we'll see exactly how this continues to play out. It looks like Euphoria largely is spread out here now as they start to approach the zone. Noob, though, going to go down to that delicately placed Splat Bomb from Dragon.
Really, really nice job here. I think Ascension has done a great job holding on to the lead so far, but this is a little worrying to me. You know, pushing that far forward, able to get a nice pick, great, wonderful opportunity. But here, we're down into the 50s, and Euphoria is getting dangerously close that if Ascension doesn't pay attention to objective, honestly, they're listening to me, right? That's probably what's going on right now.
Commentators first. Ascension comes back in, puts that penalty onto the side of Euphoria. And now, it looks like Euphoria, though, holding on to the zone for the moment. We'll see if Ascension can work their way fully back in. Dragon's called out, so you're not good. The Junior's not winning that 3-1. I don't care. Sorry about your luck there, but in any event, Euphoria still holding on. Omega trying to approach the zone. Shinx, though, does go down. Omega as well, and now Euphoria about to work out of this penalty. 3-down situation for them, though, and so Necro forced to go ahead, pop this Booyah Bomb to try to hold on the zone for slightly longer, not to get to do so very long there.
Yeah, it's been pretty tough for Euphoria so far in this game. Looks like Ascension is just still in really, really good positioning to hold onto this. They just need to focus on those types of moments. When a Booyah Bomb comes in, Ross with that baller takes complete control of zone. Even though they were able to flip it back pretty quickly, I don't quite think either team is in a good position to just knock something out. And at this point, it's going to be a game of time. Who can delay this longer and longer to just hold on to it, chip off their penalty, and make sure that they have the lead?
Yeah, and so we'll see if Ascension here can continue to maintain this control of the zone. Couple specials now coming out from the side of Euphoria, but Shinx can go ahead, pop this hammer, does find one. Can't quite find the second at the moment, but a bomb coming in from Dragon to get two. That's a 3-down situation for the side of Euphoria as Ascension continues to hold on. Time is running out for Euphoria to come back into the zone and pick it up. And so this may very well be the game unless something magnificent happens. Ross here going to go ahead, pop baller, at the very least neutralize the zone. Dragon not going to be able to paint this zone for quite long enough. That's going to be the cap going the other way, but Euphoria has quite a bit of time to run back on this clock, and this may be their last opportunity to do so.
Seems like it. They need to hold on to this pretty much the entire time to get this lead. It's going to be tough. They need to watch these flanks. They need to be really, really careful here. I don't know. I mean, even if they get that pick, no, not going to be able to do so. There's just not really enough time for Euphoria to get back in when they're 2 down and take on to this zone. So that is going to be game. Really, really nice job.
Folks, that was only game 2 of losers semifinals. Both of those games have taken not only an extremely long amount of time, but have also been really back and forth, and it's impossible to tell halfway through this game who is actually going to win. And so we're at 1-1 in this best of 5 right now. Next game going to be Tower Control Gobi Arena, but man, this is just so back and forth right now between these two.
It really, really is. I don't have any predictions right now, actually.
I don't think anyone can make a prediction at the moment. It's yeah. The only certain things is that Shinx is probably going to play Umbrella, and Swen is probably going to play a Charger. That is about.
And I would say maybe Nezuko is probably going to play a backliner.
Right. And Mars is probably on K-Pro.
So we have a lot of predictions we can
I
make.
guess we have a lot of predictions we can make.
We just have to talk that out.
At the same time, it's like, you can't really... It's hard to tell exactly what's going on between these two, and looks like Ascension's starting to get maybe a little bit impatient here as we are starting to ready on up in this lobby. It's Tower Control Gobi Arena, Game 3. Let's hop right on into this now. Right, looks like Shinx gonna opt for the standard Brella, and a Tenatech actually coming out on the side of Euphoria in the hands of Ross. Tenatech, not actually going to be an extremely weak pick with Inkjet, probably able to get a couple more picks onto your opponent's flat, and able to kind of do some damage if used properly there. But it looks like 2-down situation early, 3-down situation early for Euphoria is going to allow Ascension to get an early push going here.
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, this is really what they want to do, though. Ascension wants to ride this tower as long as they possibly can, push it all the way to where they need to go. That Stingray is going to help them hold on to this a little bit, but they don't quite have enough people near the checkpoint to help support that push. Dragon getting back on the tower, though. They do have a couple of teammates now who are going to hold on to this. Scared off by the Booyah, Shinx, not going to be able to survive in that jump, but honestly, I think they went down anyway, so if it were me, I would have just held that tower, gotten through the checkpoint, even if everybody goes down. So It's going to be tough for Ascension because now they're going to have to work their way all the way back to that checkpoint and go from the beginning, whereas Euphoria is looking like they're getting ready to make their own push here.
Yeah, Euphoria starting to get the ball rolling here, but they are going to go 2 down in the process of doing so, and it looks like they're playing a little bit more conservative at the moment. They're both kind of grouped up, though, too, which could also be a problem if called out. It doesn't look like quite going to be able to be called out at the moment when trying to put in work as the Ascension charger, but now it's a 3-down side for Ascension. This Stingray coming out, though, probably going to, at the very least, stall this push for a little while longer as the rest of these members of Ascension try to come back in here in order to defend.
Yeah, really tough break for Euphoria right there. It looked like they were on that checkpoint and they were going to be able to take it, but with only 2 points left to it, Ascension able to come back in and kind of shut down them taking that. I like this little chase that Omega has going on here too. Not quite able to get the pick that they were looking for because Noob came from above and was able to help out. But it does allow Euphoria to kind of re-control mid here and work their way with the tower back towards the checkpoint that they were looking for earlier.
Yeah, exactly here, and they're trying to approach this checkpoint, not fully able to be confident that it's a 2-down situation as Nezuko dies coming in from that jump, and now Armor coming in from the side of Ascension. They're working to try to just maintain control of mid at the moment, maybe get a couple of picks and try to push forward. Ross now able to get that pick with that Inkjet. A couple bombs though coming in, he has to be careful to avoid. Does so. Now 2-down situation for Ascension as another Ink Armor comes out, and this could be the start of the push that Euphoria needs. And then a Stingray.
Honestly, and then a Stingray, yeah.
Yeah.
And even still, they survive that Stingray really, really well. They use that Booyah to its effect to be able to help them stay alive on that. Just that Ascension has been timing what they have to throw back at Euphoria really well each and every time. I think that's kind of what it's coming down to so far, is Ascension is paying attention to the moments they have, their specials looking ready. When Euphoria is going to make a push, Ascension can just use them to their advantage.
Yeah, exactly. And so we're hoping to see here Euphoria to kind of get back going here. They want to get back past this first checkpoint and approach this second, and it looks like they're starting to approach this checkpoint. That Stingray not even close to really firing on this tower at the moment. Nezuko now hopping back on this tower, has that Booyah Bomb at the ready now, throwing that, gets 2 on the side of Ascension, 3 down for them at the moment. That's going to allow Euphoria to get past this first checkpoint. Now approaching this second, Ascension has to be careful now, or this may very well be the lead going the other direction.
They really don't need to hold on to this for very long. Not quite able to do it. 51 to 52. Ascension puts a stop to that. Very, very nice job from them there to play a beautiful amount of defense on that tower. Camping out that jump, not quite able to do it.
They're coming back for this one yet again. Here comes that Stingray, though. It's a 3-9 situation for Euphoria, and so that is going to be the end. There's Mars finally getting picked off after throwing that Booyah Bomb. Now we can finally breathe again for Ascension. They just want to build back control of mid. They want to make sure that Euphoria can't hop back on this tower. They don't want to make another push necessary because they don't have to. Euphoria has to hop on the tower in order to force overtime within 8 seconds. So we'll see here if Ascension can hold this on for long enough. Draken doing a good job of just using those bombs as a spacing tool. That is going to be the last one. Noob going down on tower. That is going to be the game. Ascension taking game 3, now up 2-1 in the set.
Wow. Really, really wonderful job. Wonderful, wonderful job. I'm very excited to see what we're going to have for our next couple of games that were coming up, because now we're 2-1 and going into this Clan Blitz on Skipper Pavilion. You know, we saw Skipper earlier with tower control, right? Yes.
Yeah.
But Clams is a very, very different game here. You have a completely different approach that you have to take to this for this map. So anything that you're expecting to see, K-Bot?
Shit, actually gonna be playing Camo. Oh, holy smokes, can I? Camo tent.
I agree.
I fully expect to see that Tenebrella is going to be able to kind of able to take care of that center alley and may very well be a useful tool for pushing up either the ramps on the bottom side, approaching that basket, moving up. I imagine we'll probably see a couple of juniors coming out from both sides because that seems to be something we're seeing quite a bit so far here. Obviously, the Kensa Pro is something to be expected. I'm interested to see exactly whether we're going to see the Charger pick, particularly because I'm not sure that Clams on Skipper is necessarily the strongest play for Charger. You could make the argument for it, but you might also opt something that's maybe a little bit more mobile, like a Splatling, probably a ballpoint, or maybe even a remix if you want that Booyah Bomb to clear out the area under the basket. But
Ooh.
so
I think the remix could be kind of a good pick. I'd love to see that. I, definitely agree in terms of the Brellas. I'm excited to see some Booyahs. Baller Bubbles. Is there really a bad special for Clamblitz? Let's be honest.
not really.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think all of them could be utilized in the best way possible.
you could make the argument that Tana missiles might not be influential, or Splashdown might not necessarily be influential. But otherwise, like, the majority of the rest of the specials have their places in this mode, and so going to be interesting to see here. Actually, okay, I was right and wrong at the same time. We're going to be seeing a custom jet coming out of the side of Ascension as opposed to a Splatling. Then Noob can go over to the Mini and a Sploosh. What is going on right now?
I think this is the first time we've seen all three of those today. The custom jet, the mini, and the sploosh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, we saw the custom jet earlier.
We did. Okay.
But otherwise, yeah, first time seeing Mini Sploosh both on the same side of Euphoria. We'll see if that comes back in. Unfortunately, Ross going down early there won't have that hammer at the ready at the moment. Noob trying to work their way back up to that Power Clam, but not quite going to be able to do so now, and it looks like Ascension is starting to get in good map positioning, but they don't have a lot of claims to their name.
Seems like it. They need to find a way to kind of get some more ink down on the map to be able to see when these clams spawn, where they're going to be, and what they can pick up more quickly, and what's at a better opportunity for them. But it's tough to do also when, unfortunately, you only have two members of your team alive. It seems like that's been the situation with both of these teams early on for this map. And, I mean, somebody's got to get it together. They have a Stinger at the ready. Sven is going to launch that off. Gets a pick on Mars, which is very, very helpful for Ascension. Has to back off a little bit because being chased down. But this also puts Euphoria in a good spot to be able to make a push.
Definitely here. You have two members around this basket, but again, very little clam control on either side at the moment in this map. Ross going to go ahead and pop that hammer, but is immediately going to get taken out. And Euphoria just gave up any semblance of solid map control. They had to try to find those clams, but unfortunately just wasn't able to fully capitalize there. And it's a 2-down situation now for them. Dragon starting to push back in with this junior, trying to find an opening for this power clam, not quite able to find one at the moment.
Really tough shot there. I think at this point, it seems like it's going to be one of those kind of traditional closeout clam blitz games where neither team is making a very strong lead so far, and they're just going to take their time to figure out what the best way to approach this is. There's probably a little bit of reorganization going on within team chats right now too, of, all right, well, what do we want to do? This wasn't quite working for us. Right there, that type of thing too. You don't totally expect to trade in those situations. So both teams have their work cut out for them. Looks like Nezuko coming up, able to pop a Booyah to pave the way a little bit. Ross also has a power clam, not so far off. I don't know. Every time I think someone's gonna get it, they go down.
It looks like Ascension's doing a good job of just keeping the ink on this ramp, not letting Euphoria come back up from that side, because that's where the threat is coming from. They have those two power clams down there at the moment. They still don't fully see Ross. Ross is still there sharking, and so could be jumping out and ready for the surprise attack here onto the side of Ascension. Again, Ross still sitting there. You can see him in the distance as Mars trying to scramble here, popping this Booyah Bomb to stay alive for the moment against the Stingray. that power claim acts as a very good echolocator. When you're carrying it, the enemy's team knows exactly where you are. But now it looks like Ascension has backed up this side of Euphoria pretty far. Now, again, we're still scoreless, and we're approaching 4 minutes through this game, a minute left to go.
This reminds me of the Clan Blitz of old, when it was just a stall out as long as humanly possible until overtime somebody gets a power clam and game over. And I think Ascension might be getting close. I see that Omega get taken out. No, Omega does get a power clam in. Can they get the second one? They do. Nice job right there, bringing the point down to 60. I don't think there are any other loose clams available to Ascension for them to do anything else with it. But 60, when we have less than a minute left, that's not so bad.
But on the flip side, Euphoria does have 2 power claims at the ready. All they need is those 2 power claims plus an additional. And if they time this correctly, there might not even be time necessarily for a response coming in from the side of Ascension. So have to be careful here. If you are them, Omega going to go ahead, find this pick. Now it's a 2-down situation for Euphoria. They don't have the manpower to work with 19 seconds left to go in this game. Dragon trying to approach this basket, as a matter of fact, to trying to throw in another power claim, not quite able to do so at the moment. Looks like, Ascension trying to go for another push, or at the very least, holding their forward position here, not allowing those extra claims to come in for the side of Euphoria.
Really nice job there. Omega able to take them out. That's a team wipe on the side of Euphoria, allowing Ascension to open the basket and effectively ending overtime. Really beautiful play right there, too. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, how can you not love that when you see stuff like that?
That was definitely impressive there to watch coming in from Ascension, and Euphoria for, matching that the entire way. But Ascension coming in and getting that Omega with a 16 KA in that last match. Ascension knocks off Euphoria, getting that run back set, and arguably the set where it matters more, and now has the ability to go up against Red Velvet.